now we're going to start walking down the path of helping you pick your skill. Now, something I want to clarify is you're not going to be stuck with this skill forever. Don't put that kind of pressure on yourself. We're not doing that. What we want is to give you a direction to walk towards, because that is the number one thing from going from where you're at now to where you want to get, is to start walking in the right direction. So that's all we're doing right now. Let's say that you pick a skill and 2 months later, you're like, man, Dylan, this isn't for me. Great, pick another skill. There's nothing holding you down into this one single skill. You need to stop being so reactive and realize that if you just put your mind on something, you start walking in the right direction, that you're going to get to the destination that you set for yourself. So I'm going to give you a list of different skills that you can choose from. Choose whichever one you want and then go from there. But the second thing that I really want to make very clear to you is don't just expect yourself to instantly everything starts clicking. That's not how the real world works. What instead I want you to understand is that you're going to have to get on the bike. And I've already explained this, but you're going to have to get on the bike. You're going to fall off. You're going to have to get back on. I'm going to say, hey, hold on. Whenever you got on the bike and you started pedaling, you just kind of kick yourself off a little bit and then start pedaling. But don't pedal really fast. Just pedal like that. And focus on where you're directing the bike. And then, before you know it, you're going to hop on the bike. Boom! You're going to start doing wheelies. You're going to start doing all the awesome tricks and different things like that because you've put in the reps. And that's exactly what we're doing here as well. Now, another thing that I really want to make clear is do not try to learn several different skills at the same time. It would be like me, whenever I was planning the trip that I'm currently on, I'm going all over Europe. 2 weeks ago, I was in Belgrade, Serbia. Then I went to Italy. Before that, I was in Morocco. It would be like me, like a couple months before doing these travels. And I'm like, okay, I speak English, speak a little bit of Spanish, but I really want to be able to speak the native language in Morocco, and then I also want to speak the native language in Serbia. And then I start trying to learn both of those languages at the same time. They're like, oh yeah, actually I'm going to be in Italy as well for about a week and a half to 2 weeks, so I need to learn Italian as well. And then, so now I'm sitting here, I'm trying to learn 3 different languages, and sure, I'm going to pick up a little bit of it here, a little bit of it there, a little bit of it there. I'm not going to speak it fluently. Why is that? Well, it's because I'm trying to learn 3 different languages at the exact same time. I'm not going to learn all the different vocabulary, like how they use their vocabulary. I'm not going to learn, like, example, whenever you're ordering coffee or you're ordering a driver or whatever, just having a regular conversation. I'm not going to learn that as quickly as if I just sat down and I focused on that one language and I fully immersed myself into that world. And it's the exact same way for you. If you want to become fluent freelancing specifically with your skills, you're going to have to focus on that skill. You can't have all these different skills going on. You really need to put the blinders on and don't say, oh, well, I read some random article on the internet or watched some random video on the internet about how this one skill is the most profitable skill right now. Don't fall into that. It's a trap. Focus on one skill. Learn how to have a full conversation. Learn how to order your coffee, how to order some food, how to ask somebody out on a date. Anything and everything about that language you need to learn. You need to immerse yourself into that. And you can get into another language on the road. So stick to your skill. Learn the best way to, let's say you're an email copywriter. Learn how to write a good subject line. How to increase how many people are going to be clicking the link to check out the product or whatever it is on the other side of your call to action. Learn the way to organize the email whenever you're editing it to get the person to go from this line to this line to this line to this line. You've got to learn all those things. Or if you're a web designer, learn all you can about web design. That's what I did years ago. I've tried a bunch of different skills, and I didn't find much success whenever I decided to focus on email copywriting. Before that, I tried writing articles. I tried writing sales pages. Hated that, by the way. Tried doing web design. I tried a bunch of different things, and it wasn't until I focused on email copywriting that I found true success. Now, how do I define true success? I define that by my own personal belief of I don't have to worry about a regular job. I can travel the world. I can do whatever I want to do. That's how I define true success, at least in the very beginning stages. Obviously, there's much higher levels of success, but that's how, at that time, I defined that. And I focused on email copywriting, and then everything started changing. 6 months later, I was able to start traveling the world, and I kept growing and growing and growing. And much later, I expanded into different skill sets. But what I tell everybody that I talk to whenever it comes to picking their skill is, what are you naturally good at? As an example, when it came to web design, it was like hitting my head up against a brick wall, the brick wall right behind me. It's just like pounding my head into that. I did not understand it. It was not natural to me at all. However, when it came to copywriting, it was something that was more natural. I was always that guy that could write well. It always just came and flowed to me easily. So that's what I mean when I say something you're naturally good at. Now, don't have an error in your mind and be like, well, I'm not naturally good at anything. Well, I wasn't naturally good at copywriting either. I wasn't naturally good at writing sales pages, writing blog posts, writing emails. I didn't even know what an email was, a newsletter was. Well, obviously I knew what an email was. I didn't know what a newsletter was. I didn't know how to put together a blog post. I didn't know what CSS was. I didn't know what WordPress was. I didn't know what any of that stuff was, but I learned it through experience, through taking action. Whenever I say find what you're naturally good at, it's something that's not like hitting your head up against a wall. Example, once again, programming or web development or anything like that. It's like me hitting my head up against the wall. But when it comes to writing, it's much easier. So that's what I mean whenever I say to find something you're naturally good at. Now, if you're on the other side where you're like, oh, well, you know, Dylan, I'm really good at a bunch of different things. Well, pick one. And if I can't pick one, find three, and then from that three, choose one and focus on that. Say you decide you don't like it, you're not getting results. Pick the second one. Still, maybe by the third, you're going to find it. It took me going through several different skills before I found the one that I shined at. Which leads me to picking your skill. I've put together a PDF for you, and I want you to read through that PDF, and I've given you all these different skills that you could pick from. Now, if you don't see something on there that you're like, oh, yeah, that's cool, or you're like, I don't really like anything on there, it's fine. Go to Google and just search and find all these different types of skills, or just reach out to the community and we'll get you sorted as well. But I really believe that if you just go through that document, that PDF, that you are going to see at least one skill that you could start with just to get you moving in the right direction. And then from there, we can tweak your direction you're going in. But we need to get you moving. That's number one right now. It's not about getting everything perfect. It's about getting you moving in the right direction.